stuff beyond that. Like, this is the overall workflow, though. That's how it goes. Let's talk about some individual visualizations, which I'm sure you guys are interested in. This is called a Sankey chart. Super useful for path tracking. In fact, each one of these paths, you can select a path, and it'll do the same slicer filtering from before. Almost all these visuals, including these columns, if you select a part of the visual, it will auto-apply that filter onto everything else. And it is so great. Oh my goodness, I cannot express how awesome it is. And yeah, it's so flexible. Like I could go on and on. So yeah, this is a Sankey chart. It tracks. You can have it track progression through a system. It's a bit of a headache to set up in some ways because either you should track event indexes in your game, which you can do, or you need to set it up in column, which involves not necessarily difficult, but some heavier DAX usage, that one language. So yeah, either track it in game or yeah. All right. Yeah. No. See you, okay. Yeah. No. Thank you. Yeah. No. How about RDC? Well, we should definitely reconnect then. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Actually, no. DM me. Yeah. No. The RDC, it feels close, but it's still very far away. Not nearly as far away as that fire truck, though. Yeah. But no. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah. So this stuff's amazing. Yeah. The Sankey charts. Include the indexes or get good at DAX. Both are probably good strategies. Once you have those, just include the labels. You might also want to build in some deduplication, like basically only like have I've labeled something called a series, where if you have a series of events in a row, like track that in the column, and then then just have then instead of showing progress through unique events, show progress through series. For example, this specific visual is player series. So like if they chat multiple times in a row, it only shows up once. It only changes to the next thing when they do something else. And arguably, you might even want to filter out stuff more from there. The dream is to find a way to do this in a way that allows for measures, because right now you can't filter out certain types of events because it solves the columns at the beginning, so it'll just end a path once you go to that event. So yeah, but no, that's a Sankey chart. Very useful for tracking paths through a game. Possibly the most useful. But yeah, from there, heat maps. I got a little bit of praise from this one. When it's so stupid, I'm so sorry, guys. This one, you're gonna hate this one. That's a scatter plot. You could have done this in like Google Sheets this entire time. It's a scatter plot. It's a scatter plot with filtered to have the dimensions of the map. Like I basically see in that map up in the upper right hand corner, there's a picture of the map, a little screenshot that ended up being the background. The red dot and the blue dot each represent like plus 1,000, like 1,000, 1,000, and then negative 1,000, negative 1,000 in the game world. So like I have a comparison point, and then from there I just using this software called GIMP. I just flattened it out. I changed it so that the perspective wasn't auto filtering, and got sort of this flat top-down version of it, which happened to be the exact shape. Which then I could then constrain the image to only show like to the center of these circles and out. And yeah, like from there you get this image. And yeah, that's it. Like the thing is, just like with this data, all of these dots respond to measures and filters, and heck, you can even select a specific dot to see what event's happening there. You'll notice most of this red over here, these are death events from players jumping off the edge of the lobby, because apparently the lobby is so boring that they have no better thing to do than to literally kill themselves. So yeah, kind of insights you get from data visualization. You'll also be interested to know that apparently a lot of players were getting angry and leaving because they thought they could somehow get down from this ledge, and when they kept dying, they exited out of anger. And you can see that in part from the word cloud, because this word cloud it shows what people are talking about. Now, this specific word cloud only shows chat events. It's really easy. It's a you can just it's a plugin for Power BI. I believe you can download plugins for free, or at least for the free trial of the full version. And the full version only costs like $10. It's worth it. Please buy it. Yeah, and from there, you just download the plugin. Takes 1 minute, if that, maybe 30 seconds. Once it's in, add the message content column. Now it'll filter to show whenever you have a certain like type of player, it'll show what kind of things they're talking about at certain points in their play sessions. And like you can do a bunch of cool filtering to figure out what people are talking about at certain points in their gameplay. If you want to go farther with it, you can also include a column that shows what they say next. Like find the next time they chat after an event, and then or what they say in the next minute or next 10 seconds. Like what they say in response to what just happened. And that's probably the golden standard for this kind of stuff. And it's probably pretty easy to implement. I just didn't have time for this because I implemented it this way without realizing that it would only be restricted to chat events. But still, you can see there are a lot of good ways to handle this, and you will occasionally get some funny moments. Like at one point, like when someone in the game is called Shadow, not Shadow of Colossus. That's a different game. Colossus Valley. The game's called Colossus Valley, where you become this giant psychic, telekinetic monster, and you can pick up things and throw them across the map, and just wreak havoc while everyone else flees from you. Fun game. Imagine that one Shark Bite game for on land. But yeah, apparently when people were selected to be a Colossus, their chances of saying God go up like 1,000,000%. Someone has asked, is this even legal? It's legal to track message content. I think, in terms of ethical, I think, in my own opinion, it's fine so long as you aren't tracking down individual users. Because that, as you can see here, it's pretty, this is across 2,000 users. Each one of these words was said by multiple people, and it's taken out of multiple different sentences. It's legal though. Roblox records chats as well. How do you think they handle reports? I think it's up to the developers individually to be ethical. Unfortunately, there are many ways to be an unethical developer before you get word clouds involved. I think there are a lot more opportunities to use this tool to help yourself get context of what's happening, what people are talking about at a certain point in the game to help improve the game. It's like a power saw or something. It can be dangerous if you misuse it, yeah, but we still kind of need them for certain jobs. And I think this has a very specific purpose, and that's to essentially get a very high-level view of what your user feedback is. And in fact, it's not even that uncommon in the industry. Did you know, what's it called? No Man's Sky, a game with a notoriously difficult launch that people had a lot of concerns and frustrations about. And they created a word cloud out of a bunch of feedback they received that helped them guide their own development. At least I believe it was a word cloud. I know that they did a lot of reviews, analytics. And so it's legal. If you're thinking about COPPA, which is something that Internet Safety for Children, that is, to my understanding, almost entirely about identification. And so long as you listen to the takedown requests for when someone, the right to be forgotten messages you get in your inbox, as long as you scrub that data, you're good. But I'm an OYER, not a lawyer. If it's really concerning to you and you think you have a lot to lose, you probably have a lawyer which you can ask about. But I spent a good deal of time researching COPPA specifically to make sure that analytics was in fact okay with that. And it really is just about protecting them from getting their information leaked or used against them, not generally improving a platform that's non-specific to them. Yeah. So, good question. I'm glad that people keep in mind legality and ethics, because who wants to support a developer without any of those? I swear, it's like you guys have a very unique opportunity to make an amazing game, and this is part of that. Um, don't don't abuse it. There's a report abuse on button on Roblox for a reason. I'm using it on anyone who does this badly, and also you could get in trouble. Like, please, don't. At the very least, you could get canceled. Don't be weird. Be responsible. Decomposition tree, though, lot less confusing. This one's actually some cool AI stuff. You have the average duration. Like, you basically tell it, hey, based on all these different categories, which, by the way, it does have to be categories. This one does not. Yeah, no, go for it. Well, actually, also, it's probably worth mentioning, it is legal in the U.S. By all means, if you are not in the U.S., check where the laws locally. There might even be some state level laws, because I know California is a little bit more protective than, say, Indiana. But, yeah, I was unable to find anything that would make me think U.S. stuff handles that differently. And, yeah, any country with internet is under some form of mass surveillance by that tool. Like, Google literally exists to harvest data. You might have to. Okay, actually, probably the worst case scenario is you'll have to check to see if a developer you have to let them opt out of it, and that's fine. I think opting out of data collection. I don't personally do it in my own games, just because I know that I personally never go to the individual level. That I know that I personally am responsible. And I don't necessarily think that you have an ethical right to be forgotten. Like, if you do something, people should be allowed to remember it. So that's my own personal reason for not including a right to opt out stuff in the game. It's not mandatory either in my region. But like, yeah, like obviously I obey those requests I get for that stuff. But just in general, like the opt out of specific analytics prior to that formal takedown request. Yeah, it's tough, because on the one hand, you don't. I mean, if you want to respect people's wishes, but on the other hand, like, what if the people who are having trouble in your game are the people who are pressing don't record analytics? Like, in a sense, this is blindness. Like, maybe a compromise would be don't record stuff in private servers, because that would skew stuff anyway. But like, even then, like, if you are being responsible as a developer, this tool should only really be for improving the game, and any bit of information you don't have that could have been important or influential, well, that'll hurt you. And so, yeah, no, I mean, I think we all have to come to terms with this in our own way. And if there's any regulation passed, obviously we will have to obey that. But, yeah, it's an interesting question. There's an entire world of game development ethics that's probably a worthwhile debate or discussion. I think it should be a debate, though. Those are fun. I want to debate someone. Other event organizers, let's have a debate. I want to fight someone. All those YouTubers are having debates. Yeah, we can bet Robux on it. Actually, I don't know if we can. Whatever the terms of service allow us to do, we can bet pride on it. But yeah, no. So this is the decomposition tree. This one only works for labels. Labels are these very so labels versus numbers. Label would be stuff like platform or the name of an event, or just text. And you need to be text, because this one literally will split stuff by text. If you want to figure out whether certain numbers or metrics are influencing something, there's a separate tool for that. We'll show that in just a second. But for this is just for all about categories and labels. And what it does is you give them a metric to solve for, such as the increasing the average duration, and then literally just plug in some platforms. Plug in some categories. In fact, plug in as many as you want. You can put in as many in that explain by area, and then just have it show like the top 2 or 3 most influential. It is and that's the thing. Like, you can see even right there, the average of duration. Like some of the, I don't think I have it sorted by. I don't think have it sorted by what's it called? I don't believe I have it sorted by most influential right now, but you could tell like people who use a mouse were doing better than people who use in touch. People who purchased a boss, like a higher chance to become the Colossus in the next round. They played a lot longer, and those who were selected as boss were right behind them. And people who chatted were behind that because talking in a game will increase like retention and play duration and all that stuff. But yeah, no, you can solve any KPI with this. You can solve it for any category. And you know what the best part is? Because this is Power BI and it's amazing. You can click any of those boxes, any of those little tabs. Like you can click. It says like, okay, yeah, I want to see what the game is like for just people who are selected as the boss and on the mouse. Basically, that Venn diagram stuff from earlier. This is that, and you can just select it, and it will automatically apply that filter onto every single visual on the entire page, and you can immediately see, okay, this is what is causing people to do this. It's amazing. It is amazing. And yeah, if you don't see the value in that, I can't help you. Like it's to be able to so rapidly switch between different filters is amazing. And yeah, so from there we move on to the pretty much final visualization we're going to be talking about tonight, key influencers, which is a little panel that pops up that's all about numbers. If before you had to set in categories, this one you are comparing numbers to numbers, where I believe it does a basic correlative analysis, where basically it correlates everything against everything and then tries to rule out what influences are caused by each other and what is actually directly causing stuff. And from there, which I believe is just the square root of the correlation, but I'm not 100% sure. This is Power BI. Use it. It's great. Yeah. But yeah. So the FPS example here. When the FPS is above 17, the average session duration increases by 2 minutes. Yeah. That's stuff that I could have put up. I could have maybe tried to squint at a scatter plot or done my own correlations. All I had to do was just plug in a bunch of numeric metrics. Just plug in a bunch of metrics. You can plug in as many as you want. There's no limit. Plug in all of your number metrics. And it will look through all of them and find the ones that actually seem to have an influence. It's amazing. And you can even expand it across different, you can have it show it across different categories as well in the expand by area. But yeah, no, like these are great. These are great. I guess if I had one criticism for the key influencer panel, it's that when you're using it for KPIs, it's not always sensitive enough to show you the exact influence of every single one of them because it's so cautious. It doesn't want to give you a bad idea. And because like you notice the smallest influence there is 1.68 minutes. There are most certainly ways that these things impact session duration that are more than 1.68 minutes in like magnitude. Like they're like are more fine-tuned than that. Like it could be like a 5-second boost. But like it doesn't want to tell you that. So yeah, you might have run a correlation to be extra safe for smaller stuff, but in general, just for getting a good idea of what matters right now, check that. And you can have it solve for increasing the session duration and decreasing it, which can be equally important. Because don't think of your game as like getting players to stay in your game for longer. Focus on not getting them to exit as quickly. Because at the end of the day, all your players will exit. That's inevitable. The question is when. And what causes that? Yeah, so this is your game. This is my own Power BI panel that shows a good overview of everything I could want for Colossus Valley, a game I made in a week. I set up this in about I believe 6 hours, maybe 8 hours. And honestly, like 6 of those hours was just messing around with these visuals, trying out new things. Most of the stuff was set up to what it needed to be after 2. And yeah, that's Power BI. And I guess that brings us to part 4, the Midas